Hello, well, welcome to week six course review. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so the topics we covered this week, or rather the main topic, were some alternatives to agriculture and farming. Uh, on one side, we had urban agriculture, which made more use of rooftops, for example, and on the other hand, we had controlled environment agriculture, which involved more hydroponics or vertical farming, etc. The first reading assignment or the first reading for this week revolved only around urban farming, and it was a really interesting read. And basically, what it found was that some urban farms in Sydney had higher yields than traditional farms by quite a noticeable margin. The only problem they found was that it was very labor intensive. I think they calculated they needed around 6 hours of manual labor per square meter, square foot, and it wasn't really all that profitable or sustainable yet. I'll get to that a bit later. But another interesting thing about this was that the gardeners that took part in the research, the gardeners for the urban farms, weren't really focused on getting the best yields on producing food. They were more focused on like exercise or spending time outside or just getting fresh food. So yeah, like I said, I'll discuss that in a little bit. Then on the other side, we had the other assignment, the reading assignment about controlled environment farming. Um, so this mainly involved like huge facilities or like hydroponics, vertical farming, or sometimes plant factories. What they found was the level of control they could get or they could reach was really high. They could control like not only the water or the temperature, but also the shade, the amount of light, the hours of light they got per day, or even like the light spectrum, like the color of light, which one was best for each plant. Other factors like airflow, humidity, etc., made it really controllable and really made the yields really predictable. So that's one of the bigger benefits that they found. Then, yeah, moving on to discussion. For the first topic, for urban farms, we discussed how these could become more sustainable or they could be better later on. The article did talk about a little bit about the best case scenario they could find, and they mentioned stuff like reusing their biological waste as compost instead of buying some like it has to be transported to the city and they have to move it to the roof, etc. And we also discussed during lecture how if the gardeners were like professionals and they were trying to get the best yields, not only would they be better, but they would optimize other areas for like cost or sustainability, etc. Then for the control environment farms, some of us were a bit concerned about the cost of running these. They are profitable, but more so in a long-term, bigger scale environment. We found that for just for starting one, I think it was like 500 square feet or square meters. The starting price was $50,000, which is, pretty expensive, not something everyone can afford and not every company can afford. And this is just the starting price. It doesn't include any upgrades or like, yeah, making the facilities bigger. So even though they are profitable, the starting price is really high, so it's hard to start with them. In terms of personal interest, this week's topic was really, really interesting for me. It's basically the definition of my major, what I'm studying here, which is biotech. And it's, yeah, it has biology, it has plants, it has all the factors that they need, like water, like the nutrients, temperature, airflow, uh, hours of sunlight, etc. But they're mixing it in with technology, like with the sensors, the humidity sensors, both for the soil, if they're using soil, or for the plant itself, or using computer learning AI to find areas where they need more nutrients or where they can use some pesticides, etc. So it was really interesting. I will look further into it, or hopefully we'll cover it again in class. And then finally, I found this really interesting article about urban farms in Bangkok. So what they found was something that we almost already knew, but we had only like theorized it, but they proved it with the paper. They found that by implementing these urban farms, not only could they produce food for local markets for underprivileged communities in the city, but they also found that by implementing these, they increased like a sense of community in the city. People came together, they socialized over farming. So it was not only a betterment for their physical health, eating healthier, getting some exercise, but also mental health, socializing with others, and sense of community and all that. So it was really interesting. I've really enjoyed the topics we've covered this week. So thank you. See you next time.